So
1000%.
why should we be gleeful, as many on the conservative right are, about the prosecution of Don Lemon?
I think you'd be having a very different conversation if Nick Fuentes stormed into a synagogue.
Well, Nick Fuentes is a journalist. He also hates Jews. That's not even close to the same thing.
Those weren't crimes. That was free speech.
What was that for?
So when I see what's happening...
Dude, I fucking like Ethan, but oh my god. You're a fucking millionaire with this shit microphone. It doesn't even make any sense.
Someone like Benny here, he's accountable to the Russians who paid him a nice, hefty, beautiful hundreds of thousands from Tenet Media.
I am victim of a crime.
Victim of a crime of what? Taking Russian money to push propaganda?
Where is the damning evidence that Donald Trump continued to consult with Epstein?
He won't release all the files. So that's the issue here. People are just intentionally fucking obtuse.
Why the hell was all of the people that were with him given immunity, like Ghislaine Maxwell?
Donald Trump was the one who gave her fucking immunity. What the hell is he talking about?
So I think you have quite a nuanced take on both Alex Pretty and Rene Good.
They were tied to Turtle Island.
What does that mean that they're tied to Turtle Island? What the fuck are you talking about? What are you saying? What are we doing? All right, guys. Looks interesting. It's Ethan Klein went on to Piers Morgan to do a debate. I respect it. Sorry, I've got a horrible cramp, so we're just working through it. But I respect it. I respect them. And, you know, it's cool. I know. So I'm looking forward to watching it. It's called What If Fuentes Stormed a Synagogue? Benny Johnson versus Ethan Klein. Let's watch it.
We're here to worship. We're here to worship Jesus. Do you think Jesus would be understanding?
Christians are treated differently in this country. I think you'd be having...
I know. It's almost like they have full control over it. That's the only reason why we're having conversations about fucking banning abortion and gay people.
Very different conversation if Nick Fuentes stormed into a synagogue.
My advice to you is stop being a Donald Trump cock.
This is the overcriminalization
Damn. Owned.
of fundamental freedoms in America.
You were
Protect
sentenced
freedoms.
to 14 years for attempting to sell a Senate seat.
Read the case.
Were you in prison? Were you found guilty of corruption? I want to say fuck ICE.
It's not the Grammys where you all give us to say fuck ICE.
What did Dan Bongino do about it? What did Cash Patel do about it? Well, they say that Jeffrey Epstein killed himself. There's nothing to see here.
That evil son of a bitch should be in prison right now.
Powerful people. They can get away with anything. Found out
There's
Saturday
a lot of energy happening in the intro of this thing, dude. It's crazy.
that I'm actually in the files.
You are?
Right now.
Powerful people. They can get away with anything. Found out Saturday that I'm actually in the files.
Damn, dude, the pedo files.
Two wrongs don't make a right. It's something we learn at the age of 5, but many recent
I don't know if you... negative times negative is a positive.
controversies engulfing the Trump administration have been caused in part by repeating mistakes which helped them to get elected. There's an overused George Orwell line from 1984, which is, again, turning up everywhere. The party told you to reject the evidence of your eyes and ears, it says. It was their final, most essential command. I used to hear MAGA
True. It's kind of what MAGA is now, boy. So
pundits saying it about Joe Biden's team, as they called him a super fit Mensa genius with 100 years to live. Now it's all over liberal media because of the...
who the fuck said that he had 100 years to live? Nobody said Biden had 100 years to live. I don't know what the fuck you're talking about, but
Epstein
okay.
files, and because of the disastrous effort to smear Alex Pretty.
I don't think they ran that much cover for him. They said that he was competent and articulate. I think, well, I'm paraphrasing, which I think he was competent, not clearly not articulate, but I don't think that his mental decline was that bad. I don't know, man. I feel like Trump is worse. He just, instead of talking not enough, he fucking talks too much and it's just some dumbass shit.
And Rene Good. It was wrong for Biden to claim his opponents were all dangerous domestic terrorists.
He didn't do that at all. He said that. I think he mocked MAGA. What the fuck are you talking about? What the fuck is Piers talking about? Is he like both sidesing right now? He called like fucking people on January 6th domestic terrorists. Immediately following the attack on the U.S. Capitol, then President-elect Biden strongly condemned the rioters, stating, "Don't call them protesters. They were a mob of domestic terrorists." He didn't call the other side domestic terrorists. He called the insurrectionists. This guy's such a weird both sides freak. I hate this shit. It's such a well poison when they play this fucking game. Holy shit. The worst that they have on Biden right now is like, hey, do you remember when Biden said that people who tried to insurrect the government were terrorists? What the fuck? It's just so weird, but okay.
It's now wrong to make the same claim about everyone protesting against ICE, and the same goes for the many people using gleeful whataboutery to defend the prosecution of Don Lemon. What about the conservative journalists who were arrested for filming on January the 6th? What about the protesters who were convicted for praying at an abortion clinic?
Oh, people who claim to be journalists were arrested in connection to January 6th. Okay. Right, because they were involved in some of the shit of the attacking of the Capitol. Gotcha, like Proud Boys people. Okay, they were members of so there are media journalists that were actually Proud Boys members who were arrested, not for. Okay, got it. Okay.
What about the lawfare against President Trump? Yes, that was wrong.
What lawfare are we talking about? Okay.
That doesn't make it right to do it all again.
I mean, like, listen, Don Lemon was in the church. Apparently, you're not supposed to be in the church to protest. You want to arrest him, arrest him. I don't give a fuck. Like, I'm not going to sit here and live and die on fucking Don Lemon. I don't give a shit. I just don't understand why you're, like, downplaying the fuck out of everybody else's shit, Piers.
It's because it will, as it did before, inevitably backfire. America's getting trapped in a vicious circle started by Biden, in which presidents
What?
take 4-year turns in executing revenge and pardoning their mates because the other guy...
What the fuck is he? Dude, I don't know if I can watch this. What are you talking about? What the fuck are you talking? He's just making shit up. What the fuck is this both sides fucking loser shit?
did it first. This won't end well.
What are you talking about? What?
There's a simple way to break the cycle, and we also learn that when we're 5 years old. It's remembering the difference between right and wrong. Well, joining me to discuss all of this is Brian Shapiro, host of Pushing the Limits, the former Illinois governor, Rob Blagojevich, the host of the
Damn, Robert Blagojevich? Ethan's not going to like that guy.
H3 podcast, Ethan Klein, and the host of The Benny Show, Benny Johnson. Welcome to all of you. Okay, Benny, welcome back to Uncensored, and thank you for your good wishes about my little encounter with a step that led to quite unbelievable amount of damage to my hip. But that is all been
I'm very sorry
repaired.
about that, Piers.
I'm on the road to recovery.
My God, he's trying to throat the. What the fuck just happened?
Give your good wishes about my little encounter with a step that led to quite unbelievable amount of damage to my hip. But that is all been
I'm very
repaired.
sorry about that, Piers.
I'm on the road to recovery.
Bro, Benny, do you like how fucking raw is your throat after that cocksuck? I'm sorry. Relax, it's okay. Hey, that sucks, bud. That sucks. He's like fucking ready to throat his fucking dick.
Yeah.
So, wait a second. I did have a question for you.
appreciate
You
it.
didn't answer this. You didn't answer this when I texted you. Are you experiencing
Piers, I texted you. I want everybody to know about it.
that NHS, that quality NHS service back
Sorry, that was a little crazy.
in the UK, or are you stateside in private care?
No, I was here, but I have private health insurance, which I made the most of. I would say about the NHS that when it's good, it's great. And if you, Benny Johnson, come to London and you fall like I did, and you break your femur, and you need a new hip, you know what you won't get? You'll get great treatment, and you won't get somebody hovering over you demanding thousands of dollars.
There we go. We got a little bit of a universal healthcare plug from Piers Morgan. All right.
That's the beauty of the NHS. You may not like it, but trust me, in that
I guess I can handle the both sides if he's going to say, hey, the healthcare is better than what you guys got.
moment, you'll love it. But let's not have a debate
Everyone,
about the NHS.
we're happy that you're on the mend. I was very sad to hear about that.
Benny, please shut the fuck up. This guy's such a cum guzzler. What the fuck? Benny is a loser.
Very thankful that you're okay.
I guess I should have known that once, like, what was it? The fucking FCC chair was on Benny Johnson's podcast, sitting there talking about how they wanted to go after fucking Jimmy Kimmel for jokes about fucking how Trump didn't care about Charlie Kirk dying, and redirected it to his fucking hotel or whatever, or the ballroom that they were making.
Thank you. I appreciate the message. Okay, look, Don Lemon, not a great friend of either of ours, can be very annoying. Clearly
Okay.
lapping this up now
True.
like a dairy farmer milking the udder of a very large set of cows, as you can't blame him.
Okay, what?
And he'll end up making him more famous, richer, and everything else. So completely
Oh, yeah. Oh, I guess. Maybe. Is he playing it up? I wouldn't doubt it. I literally, Don Lemon's just on my radar.
cataclysmic.
He's on my gator, though.
Own goal, I would argue, by the Trump administration. However, I've talked to a number of lawyers here, and it's a complex issue, actually, because Lemon's charged with violating an 1871 law originally designed to combat the Ku Klux Klan by conspiring to deprive others of their civil rights and violating the FACE Act by obstructing access to a house of worship. Now, the freedom of access.
I mean, the problem that you're going to run into with Don Lemon is, my understanding is he was covering a protest, and let's be honest, I'm sure he was there to be part of the protest in some capacity and using journalism as a way to be disruptive in some capacity. But you kind of have to be a little bit careful when it comes to trying to silence journalists and arrest journalists, because that could go wrong very quickly. And so you probably shouldn't arrest Don Lemon based on what I know. I don't care if you did. I'm not like a Don Lemon fan. But based on that context, I could see why you'd be like a little bit apprehensive to do something like that.
Access to Clinic Entrances Act of 94 is a law signed by the former President Bill Clinton that makes it a federal crime to physically obstruct entry to clinics offering reproductive health services, but has now been adapted for this. So my question for you, Benny, is, we've all watched the footage. We've all seen what happened. Don was broadcasting it. To me, there is a qualitative difference between what the protesters were doing, which almost certainly did break the law, and what Don Lemon was doing, which was reporting.
Yeah, I agree with that. All right, that's a reasonable take, Piers. All right.
On what they were doing. And if we don't make that distinction, then whether you're a journalist who skews left or right or down the middle, then the precedent this would set going forward is going to be horrific.
Yeah, I agree with that. Yeah, I agree with that.
So
1000%.
why should we be gleeful, as many on the conservative right are, about the prosecution of Don Lemon?
So I want to take this a couple different ways here, Piers. I mean, number one, I think you'd be having a very different conversation if Nick Fuentes stormed into a synagogue, wouldn't you?
Well, Nick Fuentes isn't a journalist, or excuse me, he's not a reporter, but I guess if he also hates Jews, but I guess if he was a journalist and he was just there covering it, I don't know. Okay.
And started
And I guess it would be fine, but he's not a journalist, so we can't even have this conversation.
harassing the rabbi. Wouldn't you be having a different conversation if Alex Jones stormed a mosque?
Sure, but that's
Right? You'd be
Also, wasn't the pastor like a fucking ICE person? Wasn't he like an ICE leader or something?
No,
Well, no, I would apply.
You'd be having a
it's
totally.
interesting.
You'd be saying this is terrible. Like, how dare you? I'm saying that Christians are treated differently in this country, and that Don
Well, it's a
Lemon
very good question.
Why is Ethan's mic so shitty?
was there.
No, I
on
would say
tape.
I would say
Hold
this.
on.
Benny, on
You
that
take
point,
that's
on that
wrong,
point,
and I
let me
would
just
say
jump in.
also
Well,
that's
let me
wrong.
answer you.
I'd say
Let me
all of the
answer
above
you.
are wrong.
Wow, he's instantly escalating the conversation. I wonder where he learned that.
I just
Benny,
like,
let
can
me
I just
answer
make my
you.
point?
I-
I've just been talking for like 10 seconds.
Did
Can I
Don
just make my
Lemon
point?
go in there and harass the?
No.
Oh, dude, why does Ethan's mic have to be atrocious garbage?
Benny,
Did he
finish
do
his point.
that, or did he?
But he did. I mean,
Yes.
look, okay. So if you read, did you read the
did.
federal filing? Did you read the grand jury indictment?
Yeah, watch
Why would I read the federal filing? Wouldn't you watch what happened to make the conclusion there?
the video.
Right, and they used the
It was
video
all streamed,
actually.
Benny.
They watched the video in the grand jury indictment. They used his own video as the evidence against him, along with a number of other, and along with all of the evidence that was provided by the churchgoers.
What evidence? What was their evidence that was meaningful? Like he was there?
I'm saying that all of the above is wrong, and that you can't do that. That these are places of worship. These are also private property. And that Don Lemon was part of a conspiracy to do this because Don Lemon was working with the organizers. He was delivering coffee to them. He was.
Oh, that's not. I was about to be like, oh, okay. Well, if he was working with them and he helped staged it, then that would be a problem. But that's not the same thing. That's not even close to the same thing. What?
Working with the actual individuals who were planning this. He said so
Okay, is that true? What did he say?
on his live stream. And then he went up to the front of the pulpit and
I mean, if he said that, if he said he actively organized it, then maybe that puts him in like a rough situation.
started harassing the pastor there at the front of the
No, he
pulpit.
didn't.
Now, what was also
Well, I don't know if he harassed him. He was interviewing him. But again, like, maybe there's a good point here, I guess. I don't know.
happening
happened,
was also
Benny.
it's on video. So what was also happening here was that little children were being
You're lying
wrongfully
about what's on
imprisoned. Do you
video.
know this?
Yeah, ICE has been pretty fucked up, man. I agree with you.
Like little children were being wrongfully imprisoned. If you
Pierce.
read the indictment, the children were being kept in their Sunday schools by the protesters, harassed, spit on, attacked. They weren't able to get to
Kids were getting spit on? Wow. Is that real? What the fuck?
their parents. And Don Lemon
I don't think that that's true.
says is in the video, and thank you for mentioning this,
Maybe
Ethan, that
I'm
is
wrong.
on video. The Don Lemon says in the video, these children look traumatized. Well, actually, that's the point. This is an exact quote from his live stream. And so
Yeah,
if you
can I-
think that that's okay to do to like little children in a church or children in a synagogue or children in a mosque, I think it's all wrong. I think that these places of worship should be off limits for people protesting or
Benny is a
attacking them.
political operative.
It's not.
His job is to lie.
Yeah, that's
and
not what
protect
happened.
He's just continuously going, man.
the administration.
That's
Yeah,
what
let me bring Brian.
Also, it's crazy that Ethan's mic is so bad.
Okay,
The
hang on.
entire-
Don't talk at
Pierce.
once. Don't all talk at once. Let me go to Brian next. Brian, I do think Benny raised a good point. That's why I tried to answer his question in real time, but it was aimed at everybody, which is if that had been Alex Jones, who does a version of what Don Lemon does, but to the right, if he
Stop. Please stop. Please stop. Can we not do that? Can we use somebody comparable on the right, like an actual like Fox News journalist? Not fucking Alex Jones. Like, give me a fucking break. If you want to go with an independent journalist, like, okay, fine, we can do that. But Alex Jones is is literally the guy who decided to push conspiracy narratives about how Sandy Hook wasn't real and got the victims, the families where their kids were slain, to be harassed relentlessly. Why the fuck would you say Alex Jones? Why would you legitimize Alex Jones of all people? Say Brett Barr or something. Say somebody comparable on the right. Although I think Brett Barr's probably better. But what is this game? Like, I just don't understand. What this fucking is childish.
had gone into a mosque, for example, and he'd gone in with a group of protesters who then interrupted the worship and traumatized young Muslim kids, right, or whatever, an exact similar situation, but a mosque and it's Alex Jones. Can you say with all honesty, you would be out here defending Alex Jones?
Well, first of all, for full disclosure, I'm friends with Don Lemon. And to answer your question, Piers, if Alex Jones wasn't protesting, because Don Lemon wasn't protesting, Benny Johnson is lying when he says that Don Lemon harassed the pastor. If Alex Jones wasn't harassing anybody and didn't disturb anybody, I would be saying the same thing I'm about to say right now. Don Lemon was not protesting. He wasn't breaking the law. Maybe you could cite him for maybe trespassing. But the fact of the matter here is that this is not going to hold up in court. This is a charade. This is another example of the Donald Trump administration that is weaponizing the DOJ. And yes, I do think the color of his skin, certainly his politics and his sexuality have something to do with this. But you
I mean, maybe it's a little loaded. You're probably not going to win on that argument right off the bat there, boss.
see people like Benny Johnson, who I do believe is a right-wing shill for Donald Trump. They're the first people after January 6th that called it a tourist visit. They patriots and hostages if you beat cops. But oh my God, Don Lemon didn't storm a church, by the way. He walked into the church, he took out his cell phone, and he started recording. But to Benny, people like Benny, this is the worst thing in the world. Put him in jail. But yet when it comes to January 6th, if you beat cops.
Yeah, maybe with trespassing, that could be fun.
They're
I mean, if he helped organize the event, you kind of lose out on some of your shit on that one. You know, like if he actually helped organize it, you kind of like lose a little bit of ground there. No.
Hostages and patriots. Benny, my advice to you is stop being a Donald Trump cock and tell the truth and be honest for once in your life. I know you make a lot of money.
What about Steve Baker?
Every single day, but you're lying.
So wait a second. What about Steve Baker? So Steve Baker's a journalist for The Blaze. He was arrested for covering January 6th. So Steve Baker, was he just a journalist? Should he be freed?
Was he being for covering it? I guess he should be freed. But wait, he was pardoned. I'm not understanding. Why did Steve Baker? I mean, I'm looking it up because I'm like, okay, if he was just there reporting on it, it was fine. But if he had some kind of involvement, then that would be different. But like I'm seeing here that he pled guilty. He pled. What the fuck is this? Oh, mixed race. Oh wait, mixed race and polyamorous. What the fuck? I'm just kidding. Anyway, writer pleads guilty to capital riot charges. Why would he plead guilty if he was innocent? It sounds like he did more. Let's see. Okay, well maybe one of the reasons why he took that is because he was convinced he would get a pardon when Trump took office. So maybe he is innocent, but he just took a guilty plea because of that. What did he do though? Okay, so apparently he was arrested for trespassing and disorderly conduct. Well, that might be valid though. I mean, if we're talking about arresting Don Lemon for trespassing, even the other guy said that. No, that would be valid. After writing, Baker entered the Capitol through a broken door and joined the mob at the barricaded door in the house. In another part of the Capitol, the affidavit says about antagonized police officers who tried to keep him on the other side of the door jam, repeatedly asking, "Are you going to use that gun on us?" He remained inside the building approximately 37 minutes before police led him out of the Capitol. Okay, so I mean, I could see why you would maybe arrest him for like, I mean, it seems like his charges were reasonable. They didn't, like, it's the same charges that the other guy said that would be okay. He was trespassing and disorderly conduct. Maybe give the same thing to Don Lemon. Okay.
Arrested for covering January 6th. So Steve Baker.
That's not why he got arrested. So
was he just a journalist? Should he be freed? Are you in favor of Steve Baker being freed? Are you advocating for Steve Baker?
You see what Benny just did? The guy, his messiah, who he supports, Donald Trump, called those who beat cops with their own batons. Some of these cops have.
But answer his question, though, bro.
I mean, I think this guy is a terrible example of everything. What is he doing? Yeah, answer his question. I don't think that this is a good representation of whatever he's trying to do here.
Brian, answer his question about Steve.
I would say, like, I don't know the details. I mean, if he was arrested just for that, like, that's one of the problems. Is like we have the ability to kind of like look stuff up. I would want to know the details of like, hey, well, why was he arrested? What is it that he did? Was he arrested for, you know, was he arrested simply for being there or covering it, or was he arrested for disorderly conduct? You know, I mean, I wouldn't have asked that specific question, but you get my point.
Baker. Steve Baker was sent to jail. Today's show is sponsored by Oxford Natural, makers of the Optimum Day and Optimum Night.
It's for a nice hard cock, guys.
All natural supplements. Thousands of Brits and Americans are already taking them with incredible results. Optimum Day boosts your energy and supports weight loss throughout the day. Optimum.
No idea what the fuck this is, but you know, I listen to the ads.
Night helps you relax and get deep, refreshing sleep. They have countless success stories, including from some very familiar faces. England legend Michael Owen, who lost 40 pounds. AFTV's Robbie, who lost more than 100 pounds. To watch their full stories and many more.
Okay.
Scan the QR code on your screen or visit oxfordnatural.com/peers. And here's the best part.
oxfordnatural.com/peer.
Use the code PEERS and get 70% off your first order. Wow. Get 70% off.
What a deal. Thank you so much, Peer.
With the code PEERS.
Yes, I believe that some of those like Baker, and I'm on the record saying this, Benny, were over-prosecuted. Absolutely. The people that I was concerned about on January 6th were those violent criminals. Don Lemon's never been arrested
Seems fair then.
for a crime in his life. Don Lemon has never been charged with a crime in his life. He took out his cell phone, he recorded, he didn't storm the Capitol. Moments before, he walked into the church and he followed these people. He wasn't necessarily, quote, working with them. It's all on the live stream. And by the way,
the one flaw, okay, but Brian, the one flaw I think in that defense, and I broadly agree with you about this, I don't think he should be prosecuted, but he does, where I think he's a bit vulnerable, he does in his own live stream repeatedly use the word we are going to go in here, right? Now, if you're trying to paint a picture, as Benny did earlier, of a conspiracy where Don is not just a journalist reporting, but is actually an active participant in the protest group that goes in, using the phrase we are going to go in here, I think is going to be problematic for it, because
probably, sure,
it implies that he is.
I mean, Don Lemon probably went there to be to get attention. That's probably why he did it.
Part of the protest group.
But Piers, I hear what you're saying, okay? But here's what they're going to have to prove in court. I'm talking about the prosecutors. Was he actively protesting? Was he disturbing a church service in one way or another? And in my personal opinion, the answer is no. All he did, I repeat, is take out his cell phone and started to record, as any journalist would do. And then he conducted a few interviews. Now, at worst case scenario, you might be
I imagine he knew it was going to be there, no?
able to get him on a trespassing charge. But Piers, let's be honest here. And I think for the most part, we agree on this. This is nonsense. It's because who Don Lemon is. This is exactly what's going on here. I find it interesting. They don't want a full investigation, people like Benny, when it comes to Jonathan Ross, when you shoot an innocent 37-year-old woman in the face. Nothing to see here. But let's have a full-on investigation for a bunch of protesters.
Well, the worst thing.
I don't.
All right. Let me bring in Rod, because the worst.
I suppose that's a good point. Okay.
Thing, Rod, for me about this is if you could have scripted the one thing Don Lemon would have loved most to happen to him in the last few days, it would be to be arrested for something like this by the Trump administration, turned into an instant martyr to the extent that he goes to the Clive Davis pre-Grammys party and they give him a standing ovation. Right? He got a bigger cheer.
Whoa! Let's do some illegal shit and get rewarded for it. No average American could do that, of course, unless you did a January 6th. Then, of course, you would get rewarded for it then.
And some of the big superstars. This is Don Lemon's idea of a dream come true. So,
maybe,
if anyone thinks this is going to either silence or neuter Don Lemon, or indeed deter other people like Don Lemon from doing the same. I do think, by the way, Brian, I don't want you to respond to this, but the idea that he's being targeted because he's black or gay, I think is ridiculous.
I mean, I think that's like just like MAGA is not a fan of fucking minorities, but it's kind of a tough sell in the moment. That's more of, it's like, it doesn't really seem like that was explicitly made the case. I mean, the Trump administration and people that are, voters do seem to want to pull back gay marriage standards. So, but again, that one you probably aren't going to do too well prioritizing your fucking point on. It seems like you're kind of overloading it and you're going to turn off a lot of people,
He's annoying, whatever his skin color and sexuality, but he's loving his moment because it is played right into his hands. He's going to get a load more clicks, a load more money. He's a lot more famous. So, Rod, this doesn't work for me on any level.
Sure. And part of it's probably because he feels like, maybe he feels like he's protesting as well, just to be clear. I don't want to completely shit on him for that, but...
making Don Lemon the most famous martyr in American journalism, on doing it in a way that looks to most people like overreach. How does that make a win for Trump?
Well, Piers, I'm super sensitive when it comes to people who are getting arrested. I spent 2,896 days sheltering in place in prison for political things, not crimes, for conversations on telephones.
I feel like he's probably done something a lot worse. I just don't feel like looking into it, but okay.
That were started by Obama. Those weren't crimes. That was free speech.
What was that for?
So when I see what's happening to Don Lemon and when I see what happened to most of the people on January the 6th, this is the overcriminal.
I don't know. Okay, so apparently he was arrested by federal agents on December 9th of 2008 on multiple federal corruption charges. The primary reason for his arrest was a scheme to sell or trade the U.S. Senate seat vacated by Barack Obama after he was elected. Oh. He was trying to sell and he was lying to the FBI about it. Gotcha. He was threatening to withhold state assistance for the construction of a Wrigley Field to force the Chicago Tribune to fire editorial board members. Oh, he sounds like a real piece of dog shit, but okay.
Sheltering in place in prison for political things, not crimes, for conversations on
for political crimes, not crimes.
Telephones that were started by Obama. Those weren't crimes. That was free speech.
What was that for?
So when I see what's happening today,
I don't know, dude. I like Ethan, but oh my god, dude, you could get up. You're a fucking millionaire with the shit ass fucking microphone. How are you going to sit here and interrupt? It doesn't even make any sense. Like, I understand why this fucking goober doofus, treasonous fuck has a shitty microphone. And I understand why fucking, wannabe Peaky Blinders does. But why does Ethan Klein's mic suck so bad? I mean, what the fuck is happening? Can you not afford a microphone?
Don Lemon
And his mic is so low. It's bad and it's low. It's like, holy shit, dude. What are you doing?
what I see, what hope happened to most of the people on January the 6th, this is the overcriminalization of fundamental freedoms in America. I don't like Don Lemon. I think he's not even remotely an objective journalist. And I think, what you're saying about him being martyred now on the political left is very true. He was not there to report honestly about what he was seeing. He was there propagandizing. But in a free society, we all have a right to freely propagandize. And it's up to the American people to decide whether or not you believe us or not. So I think just as
I guess that's true.
A matter of what was right or wrong, as your guest, Mr. Shapiro, says, unless he was protesting, disturbing someone, and there was mob action or something involved in his time being there, if he was just reporting as a biased left-wing reporter, I don't see that being criminal. And from a practical point of view, yes, I agree. They martyred him. Unfortunately, they elevated him. It was a bad tactical move as well. And I will say this. I think our country is in deep trouble because of the...
Well, wasn't it that he didn't get arrested originally, and then people were crying about it on Twitter to arrest him, or else they were going to reduce their support for Trump? Because to me, it seems like the only reason that they actually arrested him was not... It wasn't even because like the Trump administration wanted to arrest him. It was because they got so much pushback on fucking, like, unironically on Twitter that they felt like they needed to satisfy their fucking, or to satiate their audience. That seems like the bigger issue there, is that they're so open to like basically like cucking for their fucking their own audience, that they're willing to do some dumbass shit like that.
The weaponization that's going on, nobody has been more weaponized than Donald Trump by Democratic prosecutors in New York and in Georgia and Jack Smith for non-crimes. It's a mistake, I think, for our country if now the Trump people try to make up for that by being vengeful. I don't think they are. I think that this...
I mean, I feel like Trump is guilty of everything he's been charged with now. I mean, this is the guy in the Epstein files that refuses to release like the I mean, Trump is probably like, wasn't he's a convicted rapist or whatever, right? In like a civil court, is that what it is? Yeah, I mean, I believe he was a convicted rapist in civil court, and for the longest time you could have been like, well, listen, political this, that, blah, blah, blah. It's all political bullshit. But then now Trump has ran on releasing the Epstein files and have refused to do it, to the degree where he shot it to Congress, even though he could have gotten into office and released himself. He shot it to Congress. They decided, hey, you have to release it. And then he's been releasing it in small waves without actually showing the perpetrators. Like, we want to know who the criminals are, but Donald Trump, who is linked to Jeffrey Epstein being his best friend for 15 years, is refusing to release the predators. That indicates to me that you are one of the predators. So even if the civil case was a political attack against you, what about the Epstein files you refuse to release? I don't know. I think that we're at a point now where it's not really... I feel pretty comfortable believing that he is a predator. I don't know. Release the files. You ran on it, but because you're in it, you're not going to release it. It seems very strange to me.
Particular case, it was just a bad move by whoever the prosecutor was. But I do think it's important moving forward. I think President Trump is the type of leader who understands that we better do something about weaponization, lawfare, and protect our freedoms in America
You think that Trump understands protecting our freedoms? Dude, you're so right.
I say this about my own party. No one does weaponization or lawfare more so or better than the Democratic Party.
Okay. What? Okay, I guess, sure.
We don't want you, trust me.
Ethan,
we
you've been
no
waiting
longer
very
claim
patiently.
you as a Democrat. And the reason for that, of course, is that Rod,
Damn, now I'm a Trumpocrat. Whoa, dude.
respectfully,
I'm a Trumpocrat.
you were
because
probably the most corrupt politician in modern American history. I mean, you were sentenced to 14 years for attempting to sell a Senate seat. You were caught on
By the way,
wiretap
that
by the
charge was reversed by
FBI.
the
The
appellate
closest
court.
you should be allowed to a microphone is the Starbucks drink order announcer. I mean, why are you even here, Rod?
Damn, I really wish Ethan's mic was high enough to talk over people.
Respectfully, you are
precisely
a
the sort of thing that's wrong with our country.
person.
You should get your facts right, my friend.
What
There's a free
facts did I get
fundraising
wrong there,
request
Rod?
and no quid pro quo. Read the case.
Were you in prison? Were you found guilty of corruption?
Well, he's going to say that. He said it was overturned, I guess.
I was
found guilty of
wrongfully
corruption,
convicted for non-crimes by the use of jury instructions that were not crimes and sent to prison for 14 years, never took a penny because I fought back. And I fought back against this kind of weaponization.
You sure tried to take a
that
penny.
you, in this particular case...
You said, quote, this seat is golden.
Whoa. He got pardoned by Donald Trump. Initial conviction. Following the 2010 mistrial, a jury convicted the former Illinois governor on 17 charges, including wire fraud, attempted extortion, and conspiracy to solicit bribes, largely regarded the attempt to sell Barack Obama's vacant U.S. seat. They were tossed in 2015. The 7th U.S. Circuit Court appears in Chicago overturned 5 of the 18 total convictions, including charges related to offering to appoint someone to the high-paying Senate job. President Donald Trump commuted his 14-year sentence after he had served nearly 8 years. At this point, the convictions remained in his record. On the 2025, President Trump granted a full unconditional pardon. Okay. So basically what we're hearing here, he was convicted, 5 of the 18 charges were dropped, and then Trump pardoned him twice. And this guy's acting like he was innocent.
About the seat you are attempting to sell.
No, I said this seat is effing gold. I'm not giving up for nothing. We're going to make a political deal because Obama asked to make a political deal. Get your facts right. And by the way, 98% of those FBI tapes are still covered up to this day.
The judge got the facts right.
You don't have the facts
Listen,
right.
You got pardoned by Trump. You're out here glazing him up. We know the deal. But the truth is, don't sit here and act like you have any legitimate...
I think that Ethan should have made the point and then moved on. But okay, gotcha.
Or you have no legitimacy in this world. You're a criminal, and you use the American democracy like a piggy bank. Like again, you should. The only microphone you should be near is Starbucks order. You know.
Okay.
Let me say this. I
What's the
stood
name
up
on
for
the
the
drink,
rule of law. I
buddy?
would never give in to those weaponized prosecutors. What they did to me at the AAA level to a Democrat governor, the same kind of people did that same thing to President Trump at the major league level.
Sorry, hold on. Wait a minute. I'm so sorry. I just want to be absolutely clear with what's happening here. This guy was a Democrat. And he was convicted under Obama. I'm so confused. This guy's definitely guilty. Like his own team said, "You're so disgusting. We need to get you out of here." What the fuck? What? Right? Obama was president 2009 to 2017. This guy's a fucking idiot. What the hell? And he's trying to... Democrats are the worst. Democrats are the worst because he got fucking owned by Democrats. They ousted him out of his party. And he's acting like a perpetual victim.
And it's wrong if you do it to
What a
me.
loser.
It's wrong if you do it to Trump.
Your
And it's
savior,
wrong if you do it to
Donald
Don Lemon. And it's wrong if you do it to Don Lemon. And the key to a democracy is an informed electorate.
Hold on.
You need to get your facts right, my friend, and get yourself informed.
You need to get your facts right,
Can I add
sir.
something?
I know my
Let's
facts.
not compare. Hold on.
The judge said,
let's not-
Ethan is just like so off. Fuck.
jail. The judge and
Let's
jury
not
said,
compare you.
jail.
They tried me twice.
That's you,
Let's
buddy.
do it.
You know what?
Never been charged with
All right.
Kind of getting off track on this one. I don't think it was bad to bring it up. You probably got to know when to let it go.
Guys,
Go ahead.
Guys,
How about
I
this
think we're
Don Quixote
drifting.
one?
We are
But that
drifting.
being
We are
said,
drifting off.
We're drifting.
respectfully,
We're cucking.
We're drifting.
We're drifting off topic.
And I'll say,
Ethan, let's get back to the topic.
I
want
agree.
to talk
So
about
he's
Don
saying he
Lemon.
agrees that Don Lemon shouldn't be arrested. So I'll say even this Trump
Yeah.
lackey is willing to make that concession where someone like Benny here, who, let's be real, his overlords go beyond Donald Trump. He's accountable to the Russians who paid him a nice, hefty, beautiful hundreds of thousands from Tenet Media. So
More than that.
again,
Okay.
well, we don't know. Maybe Benny can tell us how much
The
they paid
DOJ
him.
said
'cause we
the
don't know.
DOJ said that I
But
was victim
Benny,
of a crime.
I'm sorry.
The DOJ says
you can
Merrick
respond
Garland
one
says
second.
I am victim of a crime.
Oh, Merrick Garland. Oh, wow, that's incredible. Victim of a crime of what? Taking Russian money to push propaganda? Who said he was a victim of a crime?
I was
But
victim
Benny,
of a
but
crime.
I'm sorry.
The DOJ says
Benny, you can
Merrick
respond one
Garland says
second.
I am victim of a crime.
What?
That me, Tim Pool, Dave Rubin, and a number of others.
So which is it? Are you?
So
which is it,
smarter
Benny?
than,
Are
you
you
smarter
a-
than the Biden
are you a
DOJ?
buffoon?
Talk about being
Are
an
you a
overlord,
fool?
having an overlord lackey.
Or are you a traitor? Are you a traitor or a fool? Those are the two options.
So the DOJ said, "Oh, the Trump." Okay, gotcha. Okay.
Do you know what?
I definitely believe that. I definitely believe that the Trump administration said that he was a victim. The same administration, by the way, that obviously is working for Russia. Specifically, if you look at Trump's past, he has a lot of deals with Russia for a very long time. I understand that the explicit, collusion narrative was over exaggerated, but there were 34 convictions for people around Trump in there, and he admitted that I believe Donald Trump Jr. was trying to get opposition research on Hillary Clinton. Inside like the Trump Tower or whatever. So I don't know, man. Also, he said that Ukraine started the war. I don't know how Ukraine started the war when it was in their own country and Russia attacked them. So I mean, Trump is definitely, definitely super charitable to bullshit to Russia. So yeah, he's probably being super honest.
The ad hominem stuff, Ethan.
It's not ad hominem, Piers. That's what happened.
It's
they're
total ad
fine.
hominem.
Listen,
It's total ad hominem.
they are ad hominem attacks.
I'm not attacking your person.
And I don't want
I'm
to
just
spend.
recounting what
I don't want to
happened.
spend. With respect to everybody, I don't want to spend the entire panel debate
Piers.
talking about individuals on the panel.
Can we go
Right,
back to
so
Don
Ethan,
Lemon,
just
Piers,
give
if
me
I-
your.
Yes.
Ethan, just give me your assessment of what's happened with Don Lemon.
Gladly. So I agree with the majority on the panel that, I mean, he did nothing. He walked in there as a journalist recording. He said, you guys are very keen to talk about what he said on camera, but you forget this one, Benny. He said, quote, I'm not part of the group. I'm a journalist. Talk about we, which is like a words game. It's semantics. But again, you go back to what he actually said, and it's, quote, I'm not a part of the group. I'm a journalist. So, you know, I think the whole
Can I add
conversation
something
is
real
just
quick?
stupid at this point because it's like, it's so obvious that this was just done as a revenge, out of spite. It's political spite.
Piers,
there's literally no question to it. And I think
okay,
even
Brian,
Benny would
come in.
agree. He's like, yeah, it's spite.
So, Piers, you had Valentina, if you recall, on your show about a month ago. I think we both agreed she's despicable. She's running for office in Texas. She went into a church. There's video of this a month ago, and she called the churchgoers pedophiles. They asked her to leave. Multiple people asked her to leave. I'm sure Benny's not talking about this, or he'll say, I don't know anything about that. But she didn't leave right away.
Yeah, this guy's got to fucking carry Ethan on his goddamn shoulders, man. Damn, this sucks.
It's all on video. She stormed a church. She called people pedophiles. Not only is she not arrested, but the DOJ is not even investigating this case. So this is a double standard at a minimum. Don Lemon didn't break any laws. He wasn't harassing anybody. I'm sorry if a few kids were crying and their church service was disturbed. I really am sorry about that. But I care a little bit more about Renee Good's family and the fact that her kids are growing up without a mother. But people like Benny don't want a full
I feel like that he was doing so well until he went in that direction.
investigation into that. Let's call these people who were murdered domestic terrorists and assassins. But boy, that guy, Don Lemon, I can't believe he stormed the church and he did a couple interviews. Benny, give me a break.
I can sit here and be logically consistent in my worldview, which is that you should not storm places of worship. Period. I don't want anybody on the left doing it. I don't want anybody on the right doing it. I'm saying you shouldn't do that. And I also agree. I mean, I know this is going to sound crazy, but I also agree with probably everyone on this panel, which is that Don Lemon is a black hole narcissist. He spent 30 years in cable news. He's going to use this. He's going to use this to.
What is a
he's going to
black
use
hole
this.
narcissist?
He's a narcissist that pulls literally the gravity in on himself. He's going to use this for further power and further popularity. And so you're going to have to bring the receipts when it comes to prosecuting Don Lemon. Piers said this. Everyone said this. This is what happens with high-profile prosecutions. You have to be able to bring the receipts. If you actually read the grand jury testimony, which I find this remarkable, by the way, every one of these people on the panels probably tweeted, no one's above the law. Nobody's above the law. No one's above the law. Well, it was a grand jury in dark blue Minnesota that said Don Lemon deserves to be arrested, indicted.
Trial.
It was a grand jury that did that. So is somebody above the law or not?
I want to go back to what Benny just said.
The idea
What a stupid fucking situation that's happening here. Like, let's be absolutely real here. There was a protest organized inside of a church, and Don Lemon maybe had something to do with the organization. He certainly knew it was there. So he went in there, he interviewed the pastor there that was connected to ICE. And like, let's be real, he did that partially as a protest to ICE, but then partially so that he could, shoot himself up into the atmosphere and be, get himself some more, credit and public attention. And now they're having a conversation about something that doesn't matter and is like super unproductive. I just feel like that's what I'm getting out of here. That's kind of the energy I'm getting. This just feels very unproductive.
That Donald Trump is sitting in his office. Donald Trump's sitting in his office, like pointing and saying, "Arrest that man."
Sure,
that's not how this works.
Benny, this is my friend, and Benny, hold on a second. Benny, you just
I find it amazing that you say like children, little Christian children is I don't care if I'm sorry that little Christian children were crying and weeping and sobbing in their church. Have you talked to the church pastor? I've spoken with the pastor of that church, Jonathan Parnell.
So let me respond. Benny just called.
What would he say?
These individuals were terrorizing the little children in the church. I can't believe that you're sitting there in favor of this. You can see the photographs of the kids crying.
I have no idea what's happening, dude. They're just fucking
in their parents' arms. What happened here was immoral. It's despicable. It is indefensible. It's utterly indefensible. Places of worship should not be stormed by anyone. Period.
I'm okay with those protesters being charged, but
let me just clear. Don Lemon did not do any of that. 30 seconds.
All right, Brian, very quick response, and then I want to change. Yes. I want to change topic after Brian's very quick response to that.
First of all, I don't believe you should protest in a church or private property. I'm not condoning that behavior, number one. Number two, you just called my friend Don Lemon a narcissist. You are the same guy that is
my friend Don Lemon. Is this how I sound when I defend Caleb Hammer?
Shill for Donald Trump. So I don't want to hear somebody like Benny Johnson.
Is this how I sound, dude? What the fuck, bro? What the hell? Okay, so apparently the protest was planned, and then Don Lemon Found out about it, so he went to the report. Okay, that might be true. Fair enough. Fair enough if true. Or maybe cringe if true, dude. What the fuck?
Who supports Donald Trump?
Again, I'm just like, he was on Piers' show. Watch the interview with Piers. Piers, what was he like on your show? Like, it is what it is. You know, it is what it is. People have big egos in this profession, and it's fine. You know, it's fine. Well, I'm literally saying, that you better come correct when you're bringing the receipts and when
Better come correct all over my face.
you're charging this guy. That's all I'm saying. Is like, yes, you're right. I think everybody on this panel agrees that Don Lemon will then, utilize this. We saw it at the Grammys last night. For more power, fame, and I wouldn't be surprised. I wouldn't be surprised if he got a job back in TV. He was fired by CNN. I wouldn't be surprised if he got a job back in TV.
What the fuck? Oh, apparently he got fired in 2023 following controversy including on-air sexist comments about Nikki Haley and reported alleged workplace misogyny. Interesting. That's crazy. Didn't what's his face make inappropriate comment? Jesse Walters make inappropriate comments about Alexandra Ocasio-Cortez. I wonder why they didn't fire him. Wow. He said that Nikki Haley was past her prime. What the fuck? There's got to be more to this. I don't know, dude. It seems like a little virtue signaling, but
that's all.
You have no idea what Don Lemon wants or doesn't want to do, Benny. You don't know him personally like I do. I can tell you he is not a narcissist.
Bro, honestly, you got to tell me. Is this what I fucking sound like? Is this what I fucking sound like, dude?
The narcissist is the orange turd who you support because you wear the Donald Trump knee pads 24/7. So don't talk about Trump like that.
Tax. That's right. Got it. More pejorative tax.
Okay. I want to talk about criminal journalists, Benny. I mean, let's start with you, buddy.
Is he talking about Tenet Media again?
No, let's not go down those roads again.
How much they pay you? We really need to know.
Let's not get into this. I don't want to get into individual panel members. Let's try and keep
Don Lemon will not be charged. Don Lemon will not be convicted. I guarantee you, Don Lemon will not be convicted of these crimes. He will be exonerated in a court.
Dude, stop saying yes. That's okay. So you guys are saying yes. This is how I sounded. Damn. You guys are fucking mean, dude. You guys are mean and racist. Okay? That's how I'm interpreting everything you're saying. You guys are rude and mean. You guys are chauvinistic pigs. That's how that's what I think. So fuck you.
I think you're probably right.
He's going to be fine.
I think you're probably right. But I think also Don Lemon, I've been watching his output. I've been watching Don's output in the last few days, and he's gone.
I'm a bit more critical. I like to say I'm very critical. Productively.
Full on Trump derangement madness. I mean, it's just he's just effing and blinding about Trump.
Don Lemon
by the way,
Don Lemon said, okay, what
he's making
You're supposed to be pro-Trump? Like, what the fuck?
A financial play. He's making a financial play, but let's be under no illusion.
Shit, I mean, if he found out about it and he got fired from CNN, he wants to do some kind of independent journalism, whatever, dude.
Don's raison d'etre now is to be the #1 Trump hater in the world media. That's fine, but let's not pretend that's not what he's doing.
He went on Jen Welch's podcast afterwards and said he's going after this church because of white supremacy.
Okay, maybe it's white supremacy. I mean, there's a lot of white supremacist talking points coming out of the Trump administration, right? They're like literally their entire rhetoric around illegal immigration isn't like, hey, we understand why they're coming here, but this is bad. Instead it's like, oh, they're all rapists, murderers, and thieves, and trying to demonize these people for being brown. So I don't know what to tell you.
Because the parishioners were white. Are you in favor of that? That's like a hate crime.
I'll answer that.
Are you in favor of that? He said it. There's multiple clips of him saying
black hole if you want to talk about hate crimes.
That's a space term. That's a term. That's something that exists in the galaxy.
Is that rhetorical? Can I answer? Because I asked him about this because he's done my show probably 5 times in the last month.
Stop, dude. Stop. He's like fucking bragging constantly about this Don Lemon shit. This guy's smart, but he's so fucking cringe, bro.
So he believes there is something in this country called white privilege, Benny. You have it, and I have it.
All right, dude. We got to stop, bro. Come on. Is there white privilege? Probably, but it's not. It's not a productive conversation to be having right now. Oh, Benny, there's something called white privilege. What are we doing here?
He does believe there are some cases in the church or in America where there is white supremacy. Now, I know you probably believe there isn't anything in like Tucker Carlson, that white privilege doesn't exist in this country and white supremacy doesn't exist. But the fact of the matter is, Benny, is that it does. Now, I would like to go back to the black hole comment. What did you mean by that when you made that statement?
I don't know. Maybe he's gay or something.
I'm surprised you didn't call him a gay black hole.
Black hole is something that exists in space and time, and it absorbs gravity. And so it's just something that Don Lemon is.
Do you guys believe that?
Going to take the gravity of the situation and use it to become more powerful. That's what I've said, and I said that the Trump.
I thought he was talking about gaping his asshole or something. My bad, Benny. You seem like a real good guy.
The administration has to be very careful in charging this because this is what people do in these kind of circumstances. Okay. If you're Don Lemon,
Benny, I'll tell you what he won't do. Sure. So, Benny, I'll tell you what Don Lemon won't do. He won't make billions of dollars in a crypto scandal. He won't build a ballroom
I will.
For his own financial gain. Jared Kushner, one of his friends, won't be taking $2.1 billion from the Saudis. So if you want about taking power over and having power and taking advantage of it, sure, Don Lemon's going to be more successful because of this. But do you know why? Because of the buffoons in the White House.
Because he's an amazing friend. And by the way, did I mention he's my best friend?
That decided to charge this guy. And I think most of us agree on this panel, it's not going to hold up in a courtroom. So if you have anybody to blame for this, it's not Don Lemon. It's the morons like Pam Bondi and Donald Trump that did this to Don Lemon, which will help him more in the long run. But please don't talk to me and lecture me about power and then taking advantage of that. When Donald Trump
I find this amazing what you just admitted here, and I'm trying to be respectful as you know as you're rambling. So you just said that it's okay that Don Lemon attacked this church because they're white.
That's very reductionist, but...
So first of all, Don Lemon made general terms about the church. He wasn't specifically talking about an individual. He wasn't specifically talking about an individual group of people in the church. He made very generic and general claims, which I agree with him, that white supremacy in this country is a problem and white privilege in this country is a problem as well. And if you don't agree with...
I just feel like I don't know. I just feel like maybe there's a conversation for that, but it's just not going to happen here. That's going to be productive. But okay. Has anyone considered Don Lime?
That there is something called white privilege and that, yes, white supremacy is an issue in this country, then you could take the page from Tucker Carlson and have the blinders on and be complicit, Benny. That's up to you.
Yeah, better.
I do think it's probably worth bearing in mind that it's probably worth bearing in mind at this stage that Don is married to a rather wealthy, privileged, elitist white man, isn't he?
Yeah, I mean,
he's married to a gay guy?
I wouldn't deny that. That's fine. But that's not the point that Don Lemon was trying to make.
I'm just saying.
I understand.
He seems a very nice chap.
Well, I think the point he's trying to make is that like Don Lemon wouldn't necessarily have experienced what's, I don't know. This whole thing is stupid as fuck.
But he is white and privileged. Look, I want to change the...
I mean, Don Lemon looks like a black white guy. I'm not saying that in a negative way. It's unfortunately a lot of the Western beauty standards. Like in order to accept certain black people, they have to look white coded. So that's a whole conversation about white privilege, guys, I guess. But also, I don't know how many people are resonating with this massage you're putting out there, boss man.
The subject. I want to move on to the Epstein scandal. Rod, I want to bring you in here. The Epstein scandal is raging ever bigger.
Yeah,
but accountability is still really not moving, particularly in America. So in the UK, the human being formerly known as Prince Andrew, now Andrew Mountbatten-Windsor, he's been brought down. He's been finished. Lord Mandelson is probably very soon not going to be a lord and may well be facing a police investigation. What
the hell are they doing all these oofs for? What the fuck?
Diaper.
He's finished. So a lot of British people who've been named in these files are being brought to book and dealt with. No high-profile Americans so far. Why?
Probably because Donald Trump's a corrupt piece of shit that is protecting his billionaire friends and himself.
Well, I mean, the wheels of justice sometimes move slowly. I think more information is coming out, and as a result of that,
all the information should be out already.
I think you're going to see action because some of this information has been suppressed, like the 98% of the FBI tapes on my
Trump's the one suppressing that.
My case to the guy with the camel cap. No, I think eventually some people will be brought to justice. I mean, here again, you don't want to, over-prosecute. You don't want to jump to conclusions and maybe charge somebody like a Don Lemon for something.
What do you mean over-prosecute? Have they not finished the Epstein file? They're supposed to be releasing all their information. What would you over-prosecute? Like, this has been going on for what, like years? What the fuck? They would have all the fucking criminals in there what?
It may not be a crime.
Okay.
I think you got to be very careful with something like this because if you're accused of something like this, your life is destroyed. Very notable people are now caught up in Epstein, those relationships. President Clinton for one, Bill Gates for another, not just Prince Andrew. And I was in politics and meet a lot of people along the way. Thank goodness I never met him. But it's very likely that most of the people that intersected with Epstein had nothing to do with any of that stuff. Didn't know anything about it. And
you think so? Probably. I guess. I don't know.
So I think it's prudent that whatever prosecutions come, it's done judiciously and carefully, because these are very, very serious allegations. They should be prosecuted if, in fact, there's probable cause that someone did something to a child. But again, you don't want to destroy somebody's life when you jump the gun.
Friend Donald Trump.
Okay, let me ask
Benny. I want to ask Benny. Hang on. I want to ask Benny this. So Benny, it seems to me, I've taken a position on this from the start, that if you distanced yourself completely from Epstein after his conviction for being a pedophile, then okay, you've got plausible deniability. You didn't know what kind of guy he was. He was a big socialite, wealthy guy, mixing with the rich and famous and powerful. But then he got a conviction for a sex crime against a minor. Okay, at that point, there's no confusion about who he is. And yet we see people like Elon Musk, for example, the richest man in the world, owner of X, who has been on a sort of rampage the last few days of trying to justify why he's the knight in shining armor about all this. He blew the whistle. He's the one demanding prosecutions, but repeatedly saying, I turned down all invitations to the island, blah, 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 blah. And yet we're seeing in real time emails which directly contradict that. Not that he ever went to the island, but
he was trying to get to the island and nobody wanted to let him in because he's a fucking goober. That's kind of pathetic. You're not even mature enough for the fucking little girl island. Is pathetic, dude.
Certainly expressed a keenness to go there. I wanted to know when the wildest parties were taking place and so on. And it just, as I've said on this show already, it's the little things where, when he was Prince Andrew, it's the little things where if they're not telling the truth about the little stuff, what else are they not telling the truth about? Are you?
I guess that's a good point. Good point.
Concerned that we're seeing a lot of people who, Howard Lutnick, another one. I never saw him again after whatever date it was. And then we know that's not true now. A lot of the chronology that these people are trying to paint has been destroyed by the reality of the documentary evidence from these files.
Well, I love Elon Musk, so he can't be guilty. Is that what we're going to hear from Benison?
What do you make of that?
Yeah, you're exactly right. There is two different distinct timelines for people that were dealing with Jeffrey Epstein. There's pre-prosecution in Florida for pedophilia, child trafficking, underage abuse of young women. This is what Jeffrey Epstein was charged with. And then there's dealing with him after those prosecutions. And of course, he pled to those charges. He then was put inside of his own wing of a low security prison. He was allowed to go home on the weekends. Alex Acosta was the federal prosecutor there in the Bush era, by the way, which is frankly something that I'd really like to look into. Like, why the hell did Jeffrey Epstein get to skate on these early charges? If you stack up the charges against Jeffrey Epstein, there, it was in 2006 to 2008. George Bush was president. Robert Mueller was in charge of the FBI. These charges should have landed him in prison for the rest of his life. None of us should be having this conversation. Jeffrey Epstein should be rotting in a prison cell for his crimes.
Sure, I agree. But also, Trump ran on releasing it, and now it's very clear he's in it. And that's why he won't release this shit. So I don't understand. Okay. That
he pled to in 2006 and through 2008, his prosecution. Why the hell was all of the people that were with him given immunity, like Ghislaine Maxwell? Why did that happen? I think this is ultimately...
Well, didn't Trump give him some... Wait, didn't Trump put her in a low security fucking prison or whatever after she decided to... Wait, what? Trump gave her a fucking sweetheart deal recently. Why did that happen? Dude, Donald Trump was the one who gave her fucking limited immunity. What the hell is he talking about? This guy's such a fucking loser. Trump gave her immunity. Why did that happen? I love how he brings it up as if it wasn't Trump.
The real question. Because there's a lot of people that are dragged down in this scummy behavior. This is the real question.
Let Benny finish.
And let me just finish my thought here.
He's just info dumping and rambling. So I don't really understand what thought we're supposed to hear here.
Because everyone's gonna sit here and accuse me of being a shill for the Republican Party. Listen, George Bush was.
I mean, you are. You're talking about Bush. You're not talking about Trump, who was the one who gave the limited immunity. So
president during this time. Alex Acosta was working for George Bush. Alex Acosta said, "Don't charge Jeffrey Epstein. Back off. He belongs to Intel." There's something so much deeper that is going on here. And what we're seeing in the 3 million files, photographs, and videos that have been released is certainly threads of Jeffrey Epstein on a state level, being a state actor while running a compromise operation against some of the most powerful people, including members of royal families, heads of state, Ehud Barak, a ton of other people that were all ensnared in this, very rich people.
Vladimir Putin, potentially.
Be the op.
But not Trump. Not Trump, apparently. That's the... Okay.
But all I'm trying to say here is that we shouldn't be talking about Jeffrey Epstein because that evil son of a bitch should be in prison right now for the rest of his life, rotting in jail for the rest of his life.
But Benny, with respect,
I wish we could get back. I wish we could get back as to who was it that prevented that from happening, because
I mean, Trump could literally release the old files, but okay.
I find it interesting that Blanche is the guy that said the other day in a press conference that there's really no more investigations here. We're probably not going to find anybody else. I'm paraphrasing here. I also find it interesting that only about 50% of the files have been released. Benny, Donald Trump has called people like you and me stupid for even talking about this. He's been doing everything he can to try to prevent the truth from coming out. And if the defense is, well, why didn't Joe Biden do this? First of all, you mentioned Maxwell. She was under trial, open investigation, and then there was an appeal. That's number two there. And I would also go as far as to say this. The fact of the matter is that Donald Trump is all over the Epstein files hundreds of times. What did Dan Bongino do about it? What did Kash Patel do about it? Well, they say that Jeffrey Epstein killed himself. There's nothing to see here. We had all these people out there with binders, people like you, Benny. People out there with binders.
I didn't hold any binders. Dude, get your facts straight.
Well,
like, I'm not going to defend. I'm not
I
going
know
to
you
defend the
didn't.
non-release of Epstein evidence. I'm not going to defend it. Like,
Well, you are defending it though. This is what we call lie by omission, right? And so when you're sitting here and you're chastising all these different things that happen around Jeffrey Epstein, but you're not bringing up the fact that Trump is the one who gave Ghislaine Maxwell immunity. You're not bringing up the fact that he's in all of the files. You're leaving his name out of everything. Like, yeah, obviously you are making an excuse for him.
I think that it was a total mistake.
Benny,
I think it was a total
Okay, Benny, I
mistake.
didn't
I'm
see-
really glad to see 3 million documents out. I
Okay.
want all of them out. I will join with you and say I want all the. I can be intellectually
Okay, I'm-
consistent on all of this.
Benny, I'm
And
glad-
everybody who
Benny, a
committed a
question.
crime, everyone who
Hold on.
committed a crime, everyone who committed a crime should be prosecuted to the fullest extent of the law.
Does it bother you? Okay, so let me
enraged.
ask Benny a question.
I'm enraged.
Okay,
It does
one
really
question.
bother me that Jeffrey
Benny.
Epstein was allowed to skate because,
Okay,
and I
Benny,
quote, he
hang on,
belongs to
Benny.
Intel.
One question. Benny, one quick
think that's-
question. Does it bother you? Hold on. Does it bother you, Benny, that Donald Trump is all over the Epstein files, regardless of whether you think there's criminal activity or not? I'm asking you, man to man, is it problematic to you? I guess that's the right word to use. That Donald Trump was his best friend for over 10 years, that Donald Trump was at least 8 times on the plane. We learned that in the Maxwell trial. He was on the flight log. Does it bother you he's all over the Epstein files at all?
What criminal allegations are you talking about?
Over
Oh, there you go. There's the defense for Trump.
The
1,000
question
times,
isn't
by the
a
way.
criminal allegation. I'm asking Benny, pay attention. Does it bother you and do you think it's problematic
I am paying
that
attention.
he
I am paying
associated
attention.
himself? Okay, does it bother you that Donald Trump associated himself with Jeffrey Epstein from that period of time, and he's all over the Epstein files? Because Joe Biden's not in the Epstein files, Barack Obama's not in the Epstein files, Kamala
What
Harris
are you
isn't in
talking
the
about?
Epstein files.
Dude,
Does that bother you?
Barack
Just answer the
Obama's
question.
White House counsel, Catherine Rumler, is all over the Epstein files, including
That was my
Oh, one person. Holy fuck. Trump is in the Epstein files, but Obama's White House counsel is in there, so those are the same.
question.
attempting to set up meetings with
Benny,
Obama while he
Benny,
was
let me
at the UN.
rephrase that
She was
question.
getting
What?
Benny.
She was getting lavish with gifts. She was getting lavish with gifts.
Notice how he
Catherine
won't
Rumler was
answer the
getting lavish
question.
with gifts
Benny,
by
Benny,
Jeffrey
please,
Epstein. Yes.
let me ask you a
answer the
question.
question.
if I may.
Does it bother you?
definitive.
I would,
Don't
okay,
answer
don't
the
all
question.
talk at once. Don't all talk at once. I would ask Ethan this question. I'd phrase it slightly differently. I've not seen anything, and correct me if I'm wrong here, but where is the damning evidence that Donald Trump continued to consort with Epstein post his conviction? Because that
His best fucking friends. Why are we cum guzzling Trump more? Dude, what are you talking about, Piers? He won't release all the files. It's crazy. We live in like a nightmare land where people are just completely like intentionally fucking obtuse. Trump won't release the files when he has the power to do so and ran on releasing the files. So what the fuck are you talking about? That's the issue here. And you guys are like, well, what does it have to do with Donald Trump? I don't know, dude. Why isn't he releasing the files? Makes no sense.
is the line I draw with all of
Yes.
these high-profile people. You can
It's just-
you can say what you like, but I mean, for example, take Elon Musk, right? If Elon Musk said, which is entirely believable, that he had no idea about Epstein's conviction. This is what Richard Branson said. He didn't know until he did a bit of a deep dive into him. Then it emerged. I didn't know Epstein at all, or that he had a conviction, for example. I never met him, never mixed in his circles, whatever. So it would have been a surprise to me. I'm just surprised that Elon Musk, rather than
You're saying after he got convicted, maybe they're innocent because how would they have known that he had a conviction?
saying,
What?
I didn't know about that conviction, and that would have changed everything, given how strong he's been, for example, about the grooming gang scandal in the UK. But he hasn't done that. What he said is, I never accepted invitations to be on the island, when we have seen all the emails from him, pleading to go on the island. So that's the problem I have with it. So I think with Trump, I've not seen anything incriminating that happens after the conviction. So, Trump can say, as he has been, the moment I knew what he was, I ditched him like a sack of spuds. And people that took that position
So then
at least can say,
what's the explanation then for him not releasing the fucking files though? Like that's the bigger issue is he refuses to release the files. What are you talking about?
with some sincerity, once I knew he was a convicted pedophile, I didn't see him again.
Yeah, I agree with you that essentially there's no smoking gun with Trump post his.
What? Why would you agree with that? Who's the one with the complete and utter control over whether the files get released? Why would you agree with any of this? What?
Conviction. I think mostly people, are rightfully concerned when you see that he appears 1,000 times throughout the leaks, right? And the guy was very close with him. There's pictures of him like looking at young girls and talking about how hot they are with a known trafficker. Well, he wasn't known as a trafficker then, but I think people are rightful questioning his character. That being said,
I don't understand why nobody brings this up.
there's no smoking gun that he was associated with him afterwards. For example, Elon Musk wrote him an email that said, "When is the wildest party?" Now, who would ask a convicted known trafficker when is their wildest party on their island? right? Like
Right.
even you can say, oh, I didn't know, but listen, he did know. This is Epstein. He was a socialite, a New York socialite. These people all know each other. They know. Why is he asking him to party? He knows him because he's the party guy. He's the guy. Hey, I got the girls.
Yeah.
Age
And I'll add something to
optional.
that. And I'll add something
Right,
to that. I
Benny?
agree with everything you just said. There are victims and there are people that made statements to the FBI with the possibility threatened of perjury if they were lying. I tend to believe those victims, but this is a pattern of behavior with Donald Trump. The 25 plus women that have come forward that have accused him of sexual assault or rape, the hiding, not wanting to talk about Jeffrey Epstein. It's very strange. He doesn't want to talk about it. He calls everybody stupid who even brings it up. And again, I go back to E. Jean Carroll. I go back to him sexualizing his own daughter. I go back to him bragging about going into teenage girls' locker rooms on the Howard Stern show.
Well, I don't know if those were explicitly teenage girls on the Howard Stern show, but I get what he's saying. I think that there was at least enough plausible deniability to say that they weren't teenage.
Beauty pageant that he ran. So there is a history. Now, is it criminally? Have you proven anything in a court of law? Obviously not. But I think where there's smoke, there's fire. And I absolutely believe that the 3 million files that we haven't seen yet, keep that in mind, half the files we haven't even seen yet, they've already released these files that I think are pretty damning to Donald Trump. Imagine what's left that they haven't released yet. So let's wait and see. I agree with Benny.
Okay,
I don't disagree. That he wants the files to be released.
I don't disagree with that.
And I mean, this
think
is the guy
we
who
need to
famously
see
said, grab him by the
No, to
pussy,
be fair
right?
to
Probably,
Benny,
by the
Benny
way,
has
Howard
said,
Stern.
Hold on.
Benny
You
has
say
said
there's
very
smoke, there's
clearly he
fire.
thinks they should all be released.
Yep.
All right, look,
You say-
Benny,
you
Yeah, but none of you are fucking chastising Trump for not releasing them. It's a virtue signal. None of these people actually care if the fucking Epstein files get released. That's the problem. They're all fucking virtue signaling that, oh, they should release the Epstein files, but then they're not like, hey, why isn't Trump releasing the Epstein files? It's like, oh, wow, what a fucking great question.
we're running out of time. But Benny, I want to just...
The record
hang on a second,
I just want to get the take on Clinton here. I just want to get the take on Clinton.
I'll give you the take.
Because there are
I'll give
photos
it
of
to you.
Clinton in the hot tub.
By
There
the
are
way,
photos of
I'll
Clinton
give
on
it
the
to
made a
plane.
video
I got a
yesterday
take.
defending Elon Musk. Do not let him
I'll
get
give
away
you a
from
take on
that.
Bill Clinton. Benny, you ready for this?
So what-
Because I'm not a shield for
okay.
anybody, Benny. I'll answer your question directly.
Go for it.
I believe that both Donald Trump and Bill Clinton have done some very bad things to young women. But here's the
Probably.
difference between me and you. Okay, I don't defend Bill Clinton.
I really don't understand why these people don't bring up the fucking fact that it doesn't make any sense to me that like Trump is the one that's refusing to release anything. They're just letting people get away with, well, Trump could have this plausible deniability. What are you talking about? He's the one who refuses to release the information. I don't understand it. It's fucking crazy.
Ad nauseum. You defend Donald
Yeah,
Trump.
none of us
I
do.
want if whether you're a Republican or a Democrat, I want you held to the highest standard of the law, and I want justice for the victims. I don't play whataboutism. I agree with you that Bill Clinton probably did some very bad things as well. But guess what? Bill Clinton is not the leader of the free world right now.
Look at the way Benny's looking. What the fuck is this right now? It's incredible.
Donald Trump is, and I have yet to see you actually make the case or make a claim that Donald Trump probably did some very bad things with Jeffrey Epstein. I will admit that I wouldn't doubt the fact that Bill Clinton has done that. Are you willing to agree with me with some middle ground here and say, Donald Trump also probably did some bad things? Will you admit that right now on Piers Morgan?
No, of course not. Because there's no evidence.
Of course not.
Zero.
Because you're a
Grab him
cuck.
by the
That's why.
pussy.
But you're saying that when Donald Trump was president, leader of the free world.
Listen.
Hold on. Like when Bill Clinton was leader of the free world, he lied under oath about cheating on his wife with his intern.
Again, nobody.
Oh God, not that. I don't think anybody gives a fuck about that. You guys voted in Trump. You don't really get that. You don't really get to give a fuck about that anymore.
It was like your
defending
attorneys
Bill
in the Oval
Clinton,
Office.
Nobody's defending Bill
Like,
Clinton.
I'll
this is what I'm
respond to that.
saying.
You know what I think? You know what I think?
Talking about Trump.
Guys,
This is the op. Like,
guys,
this is the
here's the
op.
bottom line.
Right.
Here's the
He's
bottom
the
line with Trump and Bill Clinton. I think the level of embarrassment about their association with Epstein is not dissimilar, actually. Rod, what would you like to say before I just go to Benny for one last word about your investigation in California? So, Rod.
No, I think the record should reflect that of all the people we've talked about in this conversation, Donald Trump is the only one who actually kicked Epstein out of a place and barred him from Mar-a-Lago when he learned that there were reasons to think that there was some creepy
Oh yeah, then how come he's not releasing all the information now?
activity going on.
It's true.
Donald
it's
Trump
more,
did
it's
that.
more,
Bill Clinton
you
did
know
it,
what,
nobody
Rod?
else did. Yes.
I think it's a reasonable point. I just think the bottom line for Trump is he appears
also
to have
have the
distanced
prosecutor.
himself from Epstein after the conviction. And I do think that gives him a better position for defending himself than the ones who carried on. Because, if you carry on seeing a guy when he's convicted of being a pedophile, it means you don't care that he abuses underage kids, period.
Right.
Benny, I just want to end very quickly with you with this extraordinary video you put out exposing a massive fraud in California. Just summarize it quickly.
I thought you were going to say the one he defended Elon Musk associating with Epstein that he posted yesterday. I guess we got confused about which video. You can address either one, Benny.
All right, Benny.
As Piers just said,
you defended Elon Musk yesterday.
Someone
You said
hold on. Emailing somebody isn't a crime. I think we should be focused on crimes when it comes
which
to
is the
Epstein.
wildest party? When is the wildest
It
party?
doesn't mean
Dude, this is. Listen, I gotta tell you one thing. This is definitely not. I don't think this is what Ethan intended to be doing when he decided to do this, because it's kind of a mess for him here. I'm not gonna lie. Holy fuck, this is a fucking. It's little bit of a mess. He just kind of interrupts and just like rambles a little bit. I don't know. Although, you want to know what? Maybe I'm being too harsh on him. I mean, he's trying to not let people get away with with dumb shit that they've done. So you know what? Maybe I'm just being maybe I'm being a little uncharitable. That's the word I'm looking for. Maybe being a little uncharitable. Maybe that's what it is. But I don't know.
That doesn't mean he committed any crime. Doesn't mean he committed any crime.
Let's not sit there and act like this is all innocent, like Benny did in his YouTube video yesterday as he continued.
Probably got the beauty pageant reference in the Howard Stern clip was elite model. The competition was mainly. I mean, I looked into it a while back, so I don't remember it being about kids. I could be fucking wrong, but I don't remember it being about that. So maybe I'm wrong about that. But
used to shill for either Trump,
totally sipping that haterade, baby,
or the Russians.
All right. I want to give Benny the chance to. I want to give Benny a chance to talk about very quickly his investigation in California. Benny.
So California is the epicenter of all fraud. They spend $31 billion on their homeless crisis. That's $170,000 per.
Newsom is not great. I mean, it's kind of rough there.
Per homeless person.
I just don't understand why they're not going to anywhere else that has fraud. Like, that's a red state. I mean, California's obviously going to have fraud. It's and a lot of money worth of fraud because they're also like the fourth largest world economy. So, I bet you have a lot of other states that are covered in fraud as well. So it's just interesting who they want to focus on.
And the result of that is that homelessness has increased exponentially in California, as has federal.
Full fact, did a fact check on the Trump quote on Stern and said that he didn't mention teens. Yeah, that's what I'm saying. I remember watching it. There wasn't any teens mentioned. I'm obviously not a Trump defender. If he said it about teens, I would have criticized him for that. Sorry.
Funding of the homeless crisis in California. Those dollars are being stolen in amounts that are staggering. That makes Somali fraud in Minnesota look like pennies. And it's time for a full-scale federal investigation. We were able to uncover hundreds of millions of dollars of theft. This comes on the heels of other major frauds in California, including the theft of federal funding for unemployment, COVID. And this is why you have a state that still can't repay their COVID loans. California is an absolute nightmare, and it's why they're going to lose 5 electoral seats in the next 2030 census. Because
probably not. Since Texas decided to gerrymander, they're probably going to gerrymander anyway. So it's kind of a rough one.
People cannot get out fast enough.
A teen pageant's different story. Oh, okay, maybe I'm talking about something different, but you guys are talking about maybe that's what it is. Okay.
Nonetheless, Gavin Newsom wants to run for president, so I think that it is, and he is absolutely already running for president right now, and so I think it's worth a heavy critical look at how he has managed what I would argue the most resource-rich and the crown jewel of America, the state of California, one of the most beautiful and gifted states, and how he's run it truly into the ground. And so that's what we're doing. We're doing a full investigation. Nick Shirley's also out there. Nick Shirley's also out there right now, and so we look forward to his investigation as well.
I'd like to respond, if
Benny,
I may.
Thank you very much. Well, finally, Ethan,
thanks, guys.
Have your final word.
At a time,
damn, they're kicking him off.
When ICE is rolling up to people in unmarked vehicles and unmarked outfits, carrying people off the street and taking off in a van, when we have fascism marching into America now, who gives a shit about what's going on in California, right? There's nothing more urgent than what is happening right now.
I don't know. I think that I can appreciate what he's saying, generally speaking, but I don't know if that's the play to be like, oh, who cares about the fraud in California? It's probably not going to resonate too much with people. Obviously, fraud, guys, hot take, fraud is bad.
With ICE, there's zero
you can give a shit about both. Surely, look,
you can.
I think you can give a shit about both.
I think you can.
You can give a shit about ICE and what's going on, and you can give a shit about corruption.
Yeah, but I think one is much more urgent. I think Benny is intentionally bearing the lead here. I think we're sleepwalking into fascist police overreach, and I want to say fuck ICE.
Okay. True.
And get the fuck out.
Piers, can I just end by saying one quick thing? One quick statement.
I can't have people just endlessly making endless more statements. This isn't the Grammys. It's not the Grammys where you all queue up to say fuck ICE. So I'm afraid I'm calling it there. We're allowed one fuck ICE before we finish.
Piers.
Damn. I mean, yeah, man. I think ICE is a domestic fucking terrorist at this point, but I mean, I don't know. It seems like he came on here just to have his fucking moment. I don't know. Okay.
Yeah.
Let me just say, I'm sorry about your fall. I'm glad you're recovering. I'm glad.
I thought you were smarter, Papa. You believe propaganda about Newsom? Are you fucking dumb? Are you a dumb fuck? Newsom blocked people from investigating certain types of fraud. We're in California. Is it the homeless fraud? Something about fucking what is it? I'm pretty sure it has something to do with the homelessness fraud. What are we talking about here? Am I fucking crazy? Am I the dumb fuck? Like, okay, this is what I'm talking about. Okay, so in September 2024, Newsom vetoed bipartisan bill that would have required the Department of Housing and Community Development to annually audit the homeless housing assistance and prevention program. That sounds incredibly suspicious, no? A state audit revealed that Newsom's administration did not consistently track outcomes or fully monitor how funds were used in key homelessness programs. I mean, it seems like he doesn't give a fuck about some of these like industries. It seems like he does like there's some aspects here that he makes like a fucking shitty asshole. You know, why would you veto more oversight and accountability for some of these homelessness programs? It makes people feel like you're like in on the fucking NGOs, all the NGO shit that are like taking advantage of the, like as if you're almost extorting money. I don't know. I mean, it seems like, I don't understand why you wouldn't pass an oversight bill. I don't know. I don't know, dude. Like, why would you block transparency when it comes to the uses of like funding for these NGOs? I don't know. I just don't understand why you wouldn't like let people look into this. It doesn't make any sense to me.
Better, I was worried about you. We need people like you doing these kinds of shows. I respect you a lot, Piers, and I'm glad you're feeling better. We got to get you back and healthy again. So I'm glad you're back.
And thank you, man. I appreciate it.
I want to just thank you for knowing your place and piping down and not speaking too much, as your opinion is basically worth nothing. So thank you, Governor.
Why don't we end on the happier note that Brian left us with? Thank you all very much. I appreciate it.
That was kind of funny.
Thanks, Piers.
Returning to Uncensored now.
Would I vote for Newsom if he was a Democratic nominee? I mean, it depends on who the Republican one is, but probably. Unfortunately, Republicans have been completely captured by like fucking horseshit and fucking piss farts, like an actual MAGA cult. So like, yeah, I'd probably have to, even if he's a corrupt asshole, because he's just still better than the alternative. I don't see the Republican Party making a massive shift until probably a decade after Trump is no longer in office. Hopefully, no longer in office. He's trying to steal another one. So like, yeah, I guess I'd have to. No.
Now is Glenn Beck, the founder of Blaze Media. Glenn, great to have you back.
Thank you. Thank you. Good to be back.
I feel like even though we talk to each other every few months, so much happens, even in a calendar week at the moment in the news cycle. Have you ever known any period in your career where the news cycle is so frenzied?
No, you know.
Oh, why do you think that is? Maybe it's part of the Trump administration's entire fucking deal to constantly like overload the fucking media with outrageous bullshit.
I thought about that the other day. I'm approaching my 49th year in broadcast, and
wow,
never have I seen anything like this. Barack Obama sped things up. He, kind of overwhelmed and short-circuited the system in a way.
What did Barack Obama do? This is the Trump administration that's doing this. What the fuck are you talking about, you fucking weird creep?
And I thought that was fast. This is between what Donald Trump is doing on the world stage and politically here, what is happening, the escalation of violence and these
by who
protests.
It's not going to be by Trump. It's going to be everyone else's fault.
I've never seen anything like it. It's reminiscent of certain time periods, but nothing like this.
What time periods?
On the protests, let's take that first, given you've mentioned it, because I think you have quite a nuanced take on what's been happening here with both Alex Pretty and Rene Good. And I think it's probably
I'm ready for the nuanced take, man.
Not dissimilar to mine. And correct me if I'm misinterpreting what you've said, but my gut feeling, having watched these videos like everybody from every angle multiple times, is I don't think that these ICE agents set out to be cold-blooded murderers or assassins, and nor do I think that the victims were entirely blameless of putting themselves into a situation which escalated.
Sorry, Alex. Wow. Piers, what are you, a fucking moron? Holy shit, what a fucking cum guzzler. Listen, the Rene Good situation, you could say, is more ambiguous, right? Because we have a situation where, she drove away from a cop, but if you want to argue, well, I think that she was driving at the cop, or I think that the cop's life felt threatened, whatever. I mean, he pulled out his gun before he got out of the way, so frankly, I think he wanted to kill her, but like, fine. But on Alex Pretty, he was there protesting. He had a legal firearm. He was trying to defend a woman who was getting violently assaulted by an ICE officer who was supposed to be de-escalating, but decided to escalate. He put himself in the middle of them, didn't assault the officer at all whatsoever, and then they maced him, pinned him to the ground, took his gun, 6 of them, and then they shot him to death. What the are you fucking stupid? Dude, nuance only exists when like they want to excuse disgusting behaviors. What the fuck are you talking about? You sound like such a bitch. These people are worthless fucking cowards. Holy fuck. They're so desperate to play this like both sides game. Oh my God.
However, neither deserve to die, and the general febrile atmosphere that led to their deaths is a direct result, I think, of
Trump.
Overreach by ICE, fueled by the administration or particular members of that administration, and that it's got completely out of control, and that Donald Trump, I think, in the last few days, recognized this and has put the reins on it.
Oh, really? Do you think he recognized it, or do you think that he realized that he can't push a bullshit propaganda narrative anymore, and he has to actually do something about the fucking problem he's been causing?
So I think I agree with most of what you said. First of all,
except I love Donald Trump.
Thank you for being an adult. A lot of people in the world, and especially America, cannot hold two thoughts at once anymore. You can be a protester and have a right to protest, and
have a right to bear arms, of course.
Also, be surrounded by insurrectionists, but not be one yourself. You can be a cop and really doing your job and make a mistake, and somebody dies, and doesn't
make a mistake and somebody dies. Wow, what a mistake, huh? Incredible.
Make you a bad person. I mean, two thoughts.
Yes.
And these are the people that'll foam at the mouth if you get an abortion, because you're killing a person by their logic. But if somebody's shot unjustifiably to death by a fucking moron that decided to escalate over de-escalate, all of a sudden, let's put on the nice somber tone. Fuck you, dude. These people are pussies.
That's what I believe happened at both of these things. I do believe. I mean, we expose some radical ties, and whether they
ties to what
themselves were radicals or not, I'm not sure.
Oh, okay. So right now, what he's doing is he's justifying the murder of these people, because he's like, well, they had radical ties. What did they have? Dogs on their tie? That's pretty radical. Like, what the fuck are you talking about?
But I know the ties were there.
Oh my God.
The
ties were there. Don't even worry about it. The ties were all over it.
These Turtle Island Marxist kind of things. And I'm not saying either one of them believed in it, but they were tied to those organizations and were involved with those.
How are they tied? What the fuck are you talking about? Tied to what?
Organizations. And Turtle Island is basically a way of saying America is not legitimate. It belongs to the Native American. And
what the fuck are you talking about? They're tied to what does that mean that they're tied to Turtle Island? What are you saying? What are we doing? Okay, how are they tied to Turtle Island? Whatever that means.
The white man should.
Oh, he's calling them Marxists. Oh, he's signal boosting that they deserve to die. I see what you're saying. Okay.
They've never been here, and it all should be wiped off.
Bro, just please stop. This is not a fucking real thing that these people believed. Just knock it off, dude. You're just fucking embarrassing yourself.
Very few people actually.
These people are actual fucking unhinged propagandists.
Believe that, but I think those are the radicals that are actually in charge. And then most people on the streets, I think, are either, some of them, good intention because they think that something is wrong, or wildly misinformed and a useful idiot. I think the administration made some wrong moves on the way they handled after Renee Good was killed. I think the way they came out again about that, I think, was a mistake. That only riled things up more. But you also have to look at the political situation in Minnesota. There is more fraud in Minnesota with the state government, and the governor knew about it. There's more.
Yeah, that's why they're investigating it. What are you talking about?
Fraud than I think we've ever found in American history in a state and a program.
What? Is that true? Who found it? Oh, wait, who's we? You mean, are you talking about the Feeding Our Future, which ended like 2019? Or 2022. Feeding Our Future fraud investigation became public on 2022, which means it was started before that. Who's we? You're talking about, like, you're acting like, this is what the problem is. The language is intentionally coded so that you think that somehow anything that happened there because the Trump administration did anything positive. They were investigating this fraud long before that. What the fuck is this dumb idiot talking about?
And nobody's talking about that. So I think there are also some very powerful political forces that are trying to do everything they can to stop people from talking about that. But as you said, I'm glad to see that the president, I think he did turn a corner. He's got a very tough road to walk here. He can't be weak on it, but he can't make things worse. This is going to take the best of his ability to get through, because I think we are in.
Well, what I imagine would be frustrating.
These are annoying as fuck.
To him is that what he's achieved on the southern border, for example, has been staggeringly successful and has almost
just shut down the border. It's not really successful, but okay, gotcha.
Almost universal approval. right? What he's achieved in when he says, look, we want to kick all the undocumented people in the United States who then commit crimes unconnected to their status. Everyone broadly agrees with that too.
That's not what he's doing, though. What are you talking about? He's just lying. You're just saying things that aren't even true. That's not his. He's not trying to get rid of people who are violent criminals. He's trying to get rid of everybody. Like, what is it? 5 to 8% of the people are convicted of a violent crime. He's not going after violent criminals. He's just causing chaos in the street. He's labeling people who come here as fucking, or really just immigrants in general, but like people who come here as like rapists, thieves, and murderers. What are you saying? You're just saying things. You're not accurate in any capacity. What?
The flashpoint is, and I keep talking about this because I think it's what the real flashpoint is here, is I think the majority of Americans that I know, and it's reflected in the polls, they're compassionate people, they're people of common sense, and they have looked at people, for example, who've come here into the United States, undocumented, but then built lives for themselves where they've had kids, they've got jobs.
Trump doesn't give a fuck about these people. What are you talking about?
Paid taxes, they've contributed to society, they don't commit other crimes, they're law-abiding citizens for all intents and purposes without actually being citizens. And they don't like the optics of masked ICE agents seemingly rampaging around into Home Depot and other places and grabbing people like that and trying to throw them out of the country.
I would tell you that the president agrees with what you just said.
This guy's a loser. If he agreed, then why is he doing it? I don't. Okay, this is such a fuck. This is like boring and dumb. Holy fuck! What a loser, asshole, piece of shit.
That is one of the things he made very, very clear. We are.
Oh, really? When he was the one directing them to act this way, he was making it really clear not to act this way. That makes a lot of sense, bud.
Going after the criminals. We're going after the people who are dangerous, raped our children, raped our wives, our daughters, etc., murdered people. Those people are the ones they're going after.
Untrue. He's just lying. But okay.
The mask is a tough one because, again, I don't like our police in masks either. I don't like anybody in masks. I had a problem with it during COVID. I don't like the mask idea. It's very impersonal. And especially
very impersonal
when it comes to good guys and bad guys. Why are you wearing a mask? But you don't understand that in America, these people are being targeted and their families. People are.
Oh, yeah, I get it. Yeah.
Right.
Okay. This is just like fucking legit slopaganda here.
So, I mean, the problem is chicken and the egg. You've got to stop the violence. You have to stop people. If the
Trump is the one being violent.
Left would come out, if Walls would come out and say, enough of this, stop it, respect them. We've worked out a deal with President Trump where
respect them with what? Nobody, like, what the fuck are you talking about? The people that were killed weren't committing violence. What the fuck?
Going to turn over these kinds of people, etc., etc. This would all go away. But there's not that on it.
That sounds so reasonable. I bet all of this is so true.
Yeah.
Negotiation.
No, I agree. And actually, the most pleasing moment of a very difficult week, I think, was when Trump did pick the phone.
This is like the weirdest shit ever because it's basically two fucking morons just sitting here trying to jerk each other off in front of us. Like, that's pretty much what this entire thing is. They're stroking their dick to like something that doesn't exist. Oh yeah, if they were just nicer, maybe this could be better. Oh fuck, my dick is so fucking hard right now. This is crazy. I'm gonna come. I'm gonna come right now. I'm gonna fucking come. So like that's literally all this is. It's just like they're just, I'm gonna fucking come. I'm coming. That's it. What are you doing? It's just like, this is imaginary scenarios made up to make them feel good. Yeah, this would be a really nice solution. It's like when you fucking daydream at work about how, like, what if somebody just gave me $1 million? Yeah, that could be fucking cool as hell. It's like, okay, cool, man. Got it.
Up to Waltz.
It's incredible stuff, I think.
And they had what apparently was a very constructive conversation. That should have happened a long time before. The idea that the governor was not allowing the local cops to do their job on the streets to police crowds and was leaving it to what were, in my opinion, clearly poorly trained ICE agents in crowd control.
Oh, who the fuck? Wait, who trained them poorly? That's weird.
That was a major factor in what was happening.
Yeah, that's not what they do. That's not what the National Guard is even supposed to do. That's a local.
Trump is the one that's giving out fucking free money to these morons. What are we talking about here?
Policing issue. But, you know, we're in a situation where if the local police and the attorney general of the state won't do their job, won't prosecute, won't arrest, won't stand in the middle and play the referee, then what do you have? I mean, you can't let lawlessness rule. And our Constitution is very clear. If the state government refuses to do its job, if they refuse...
Job of what? What job are we talking about? Are we supposed to leave these things to the state? Why wouldn't you leave it to the state to decide how they want to deal with their illegal immigration problems? I don't understand.
Or impede federal agents, or federal agents are in danger, then the government has the right to say this is an insurrection, yada yada, and put it down. Trump doesn't want to do that. Trump does not want to do that. That will only inflame everything. But he has the right to do it, and they're kind of backing him into this kind of South Korea corner where he's like, "What do you want me to do? You want me? I'll go take over." But that's a bad idea, and that'll only just throw gasoline on the fire. And I believe that's what the left wants.
I agree, and I think
I agree. The left just wants violence, dude, and that really was what it boils down to, is that people on the left just want violence, and anytime something happens, it's okay that they get shot and murdered, and that's what our indication is to you guys. That's the dog whistle. Okay, cool.
You know, you guys went through it in '68 in Paris and in England.
This guy looks like a fucking grumpy troll. Why are we listening to these people?
Yeah,
this is the same kind of coordinated Marxist effort. It is separate from
Marxism. It's Marxism is scary. And it's communism, and it's a scare. I'm a scared it, and it's a scare Marxism. You guys didn't know that's a you know what Marxism, circumcision, all very scary. It's very scary stuff. We're just scared. We're scared of Marxism and circumcisions and exorcism. We gotta get these demons out of here. It's all connected, as you can see. What I'm saying makes perfect sense. Incredible.
From people who honestly are looking at the situation and judging it as an adult, saying this is wrong, this is right.
Yeah.
But most of this is coordinated by Marxists.
Yeah, I don't disagree.
I don't disagree. Everything is Marxism. It's just magic Marxism. Magic Mark. My wife watched that Magic Marxism, and she got horny, and I threw up because I'm actually a closet homosexual.
Talked about the Epstein scandal. It's never ending, this scandal, and it's bringing down a lot of scalps in the UK. You know, the former Prince Andrew brought down, Lord Mandelson, he's been brought down, a lot of people falling here. We're not seeing the same thing happening in the United States yet. What's your view of this, Glenn?
We won't. But
I mean, again, what?
Oh, we gotta let the investigations go. Trump is doing his best to, be a really fair, nice guy. I mean, he's not releasing the files himself, but he's just a good old dude.
Pretty unprecedented scandal in terms of the reach of high-profile, famous, rich, powerful people dragged into the net of one guy, and we still don't really know who got up to bad stuff with him and who was just part of the social whirl and is mentioned in these files, and therefore people want to...
I'm pretty sure Trump is part of the fucking bad stuff because he refuses to release the files. That's how I can tell, because I'm not a fucking moron.
Find them guilty by association.
I found out Saturday that I'm actually in the files.
I saw that, yeah.
Dude,
one of his clients said, I having to meet with some Glenn Beck fans, and you know what they're like, or something like that. So it's the only good way to be in those files.
That's so scary for you.
The problem with this, Piers, I think this is the biggest scandal we've ever faced, and it shows how deep the deep state and powerful people they can get.
Why isn't Trump just releasing it then?
Away with it. But I don't think we're ever going to have the answer.
Why?
Both parties have had these files. They've had them. Both the Republicans and the Democrats have had them. You don't think if Donald Trump was in them, you don't think the Democrats would have used that to stop him? They used everything else. They would have used that.
What? Why is he not releasing it? I guess we got to do some kind of cope. Okay. I wonder if they actually believe this, or if it's just like all, do they know it's a lie, or do they believe it? How dumb are these people?
Did somebody take that out? Did somebody, take the other side out? I think everybody who was really powerful enough got all of that stuff out. I think the way Pam Bondi, our attorney, handled it was an absolute disgrace. It was not helpful in any way, shape, or form.
You mean her being directed by Trump? But okay, gotcha.
But I don't think we're ever going to get to the answer. But I certainly would like to see more people just in shame. Bill Gates. My God.
Who the fuck is Justin?
Just in shame.
I know.
Guy, does shame even exist anymore? It does in England. I don't think it does in America anymore.
Yeah.
It's terrible. Doesn't it? It's too bad we can't actually get the files released. It's crazy.
Yes, very interesting. I agree with you.
Yeah,
people here are being shamed into oblivion. I'm not seeing that yet in the United States. And yet a lot of people like Bill Gates.
That's because you guys keep covering for them.
It's pretty appalling what we're reading about people like him. Let us end on a happier note. Melania, the movie. You went there.
I went there. It was amazing. We bought out the whole entire country.
Tanya, your wife. The theater was packed. What did you make of the film? It's obviously been trashed.
Got a picture of that?
By critics, but then they're not honest brokers, these critics. They're people that hate the Trumps.
Of course. Why would you hate Trump? He's such a nice guy.
Particularly hate Donald Trump, so therefore they trash it.
I don't want to present myself as a completely honest broker either, because I like the Trumps. I know them personally.
Right.
But I thought it was fascinating to have that kind of access. I mean, it was 2 or 3 weeks before the inauguration. I thought it was really well done and elegant. I think it made
It's
her
beautiful. I love that. I thought it was elegant as well.
look to be the Jackie Onassis, which I think she is, Jackie Kennedy.
Yeah.
Oh, really? Because she's boring as shit and nobody cares about her. So I don't know how the fuck she could be anything.
I don't think we've ever had a classier. She's up with Jackie Kennedy. Very, very smart, and it shows how smart she is, and a woman of her own thought. Not.
Yep.
And
She do be thinking sometimes. I love that.
I thought it was great. I didn't learn much new, but I've never seen.
Oh, because you were such good friends with them, of course. So it's hard to learn new stuff when you're the best friends with them. I get that. That's totally understandable, I think.
Seen access like that before. I saw things that I've never seen before, but there's nothing new. But it's a wild look into this time from a completely different angle that Americans have never seen.
I just think whatever you think of the Trumps, it's a really interesting peek behind the curtains.
I'll let you. I'll take your word for it, boss. I'll take your word for it.
Which shows you the dual role of people who get propelled to these gigantically big public places, like Melania Trump. Imagine 1 minute she's just the wife of a real estate tycoon who does a bit of TV. The next,
imagine 1 minute she's just like some random kind of like just totally relatable real estate tycoon person, and then the next minute she's the president of the United States. Yeah, what the fuck? That's so normal. It's just crazy. Like, what the fuck? What the fuck is going on with that?
She's the first lady of the United States, having come to the country as an immigrant.
Right, an immigrant from behind the
Well, she's certainly not the first fucking wife of Donald Trump.
Iron Curtain. I mean, only in America.
Amazing story.
Amazing story.
Yeah. And then Donald Trump.
Was she part of Epstein's island and then Trump bought her or something? What's the amazing part of the story?
His mother went through Ellis Island.
Wow.
His mother was an immigrant, and she produced the president of the United States. I mean, it's an incredible story.
It's incredible. I'm literally cumming myself. I'm so immigrants coming to America. What the fuck? You can't do that anymore. What an inspiring story.
And incredible that those two people are the first lady and the president, while everybody is saying they hate immigrants.
Wow.
How's that possible?
Okay.
There is an irony there, isn't there, Glenn? Glenn,
there is, but it's not the correct irony, you fucking idiot, drooling fuck.
gotta leave it there.
There's an irony there of Donald Trump being an immigrant and still literally hating immigrants, and despite the fact that he exploits their labor. I mean, Donald Trump is the reason illegal immigrants come to America, right? Because they work illegal jobs for his companies. But somehow this makes Trump look good.
Having you on Uncensored. Thank you so much.
God bless. Thank you very much.
God bless. Why did he sneeze?
Piers Morgan Uncensored is proudly independent. The only boss around here is me. If you enjoy our show, we ask only one simple thing. Hit subscribe on YouTube and follow Piers Morgan Uncensored on Spotify and Apple Podcasts.
Wow. Well, you know what, Piers? That was absolute miserable dog shit.